guys, welcome to the Expert Explorer, your number one employment podcast where we talk about everything, the fact, the myth, and everything in between.
That's right.
My name is Aisha.
And I'm Mide. And on today's episode, we are going to be comparing the employment practices in Nigeria versus what is being practiced in Canada. And I'm sure you're wondering, why Canada? Why not Canada?
Why not Canada?
Because, everybody you know must have, not everybody you know, but I'm sure you must know one or two persons that are currently in Canada because of the Japa syndrome. And everybody can also relate to the fact that in 2020, 2021, that was the norm. There was a whole lot of outflux of Nigerians being exported to Canada because of, that same syndrome called the Japa syndrome. And I don't know. Aisha, have you been to Canada before?
You just say you want to embarrass me. You know that I've not been to Canada before.
That's not the idea.
I've not been to Canada. My helpers are watching this. Have you been to Canada before?
We're in the same shoes. I've not been there too. My helpers. I've not been there. But we have with us today, not just my friend, my bosom friend, a family member. In fact, I'm not just family member to her. I be family friends with her. I'm also family friends with her family members, each of them. Right? And she's also family friends with my own family. Aww. That's how close we've been. We've known each other for about 12 years, going to 13 years, and we knew each other from school. To think that we didn't just stop at that, we also stay close to each other. This world just wanted us to be together. So we are going to be introducing to you someone who has not only lived in Canada, she's a HR professional and also she grew in Nigeria, right? So she knows how to give you all that butter, juxtaposing the practices here in Nigeria versus what is being practiced in Canada. And I'm sure she would also give us some snippets as to what is happening in other climes. So please, ladies and gentlemen,
your hands are not too busy.
A round of applause for Oyinda Afolabi. We even have the same prefix. Yay! For our surname.
It's true. I have you there, Oyinda Afolabi. Oh, that's sweet.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm so grateful to be here today. Thanks. I've been following the podcast for a while now, and you're doing an excellent job.
Yay.
And for me, it's more like
subscribe.
These small things genuinely have an impact in the work environment and the world of work as HR practitioners as well. These are like small changes we want to make. Like, let people, I always hear HR is not your friend. You see that statement, it's not correct. Right. So I feel like this podcast is literally
telling you that, yes,
fine-tuning that notion and things like that. So good job, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome, Oyinda. It's a privilege to have you.
It's nice to have you here. I'm so excited. One thing I'll first say is that when you are going to that Canada, inside your bag, I'm there.
Oyinda, I want to be in the brief.
Thank you.
Are you sure you can enter?
I will enter. What do you mean? I'm very flexible. Of course, I will lose weight before then. Don't worry. Welcome, Oyinda. So, Oyinda, like we mentioned, we're going to be comparing the employment practices, Nigeria, Canada, what's happening in Nigeria, what's happening in Canada. You help us with the Canada because we don't know. So, the first one we'll be talking about is the employment contract, job security, and employee rights. Speaking from not just from experience, just Nigeria, as we're in Nigeria, obviously there are employee rights. People have the labor law is there and it protects the people, it protects the employee, even protects the employee more than the employer. But for somewhere in Nigeria, it's very rare for you to see people to speak up for themselves or advocate for themselves. It's just now that people are opening their eyes or starting to advocate for themselves. And it's not even in the way that it happens in more civilized countries, in my own opinion. So that's the first thing I'm going to be talking about. There are laws in place in Nigeria, but is it being enforced? It's not being enforced well. People are scared. Sometimes it's out of fear, will I lose my job? Will I be branded as unserious if I do this thing, if I advocate for myself? So I just want you to speak to that instance as relates practices in Canada.
Okay, so first thing that comes to mind with that is, in a situation, I'll just give very practical examples. In a situation where it's hard for you to get a job, so you got the job through maybe like you had to wait 3, 4, 5 years to get the job, and then you finally get job, and then so that even though you know that what they're doing probably is some form of discrimination or some form of unfairness happening in the workplace, but kind of silenced because of the home trauma. Right? Yes. To use the word trauma that you had to go through before getting that job.
Right.
However, in the West, it's more like you probably would enter the work system pretty early. And so it's more like when I started working at 16, there's nothing anybody can tell me when I'm like 28. I've worked for the last 12 years. I know my rights. And if you try to trample on that, I know exactly what you're told. So those are like two different, and those are like real scenarios that could actually impact it. So some fleet situations as well. I see probably in Canada, it took people like 4 or 5 years at all to get a job. Probably that type of situation people also have in a career.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Another thing I would say is also that the harassment, like, unfortunately, we know that in Nigeria, both exist, but enforcement is just a problem. Enforcement is also another thing. There, like, the laws would exist, but how much you enforce it and how much people also know about the rights that they have. So those are like two things that go hand in hand. So if I'm aware that if my employer treats me this particular way, I can take this issue to a particular court, and this is what my employer would go through. Yeah, it's not like in the West they don't want to do these things. They just know how much they will pay. So, and they know the kind of bad image you would give or the bad rep you would give the company as well, which is what kind of puts them in that proper. I have to act right. If not, like literally when we're driving and things, we go. People would not mind eating the red light, but you just know you have the camera in front of you that if it grabs your plate, they don't even, nobody needs to come to you. You just get
Nobody's negotiating with you.
So you have just these small enforcements that genuinely make people act right. Yeah, there. But here, there's nothing. No, like
nobody's tracking it.
Everyone can try to get like the permit put you work votes. Like nobody's going to hold me accountable. And so let me just do it. But there's too many things that will hold you accountable. And you would pay through your nose. You would pay that fear. Literally, you would pay through your nose. And I remember when I was doing my master's, and I would never forget this experience. I was doing an employment law class. I had more Nigerians in the class. And I remember the lecturer always saying, "Oh, if you do this, this is the fine. They pay 30,000. You'll pay 40,000." I was like, that on my job, the cashing out.
I'm
that they do normally.
And things like that. So I think the enforcement as well is unfair.
Yes, you're very
That's
right.
fantastic.
Yeah, you're very right. And even in when growing up in Nigeria, there's this sense of like respecting somebody that is giving you something. There's always this notion of like, oh, you employing me, you're doing me a favor. Yeah. So I have to be subservient to you. Yeah. Whatever you do, I have to answer because you're like my master. So that notion is already ingrained in our souls. So even if we keep saying like, oh, the employment law or the labor law, the Nigerian labor law favors you, you can complain, you can advocate for yourself. Exactly. People will still be scared because, like you said, somebody that stayed at home and didn't get a job for 5 years. Imagine they now get a job. You're not telling them to go and be telling their employer that, how can you say I should not put my shoe here? No, they'll say, please. They say I should put my shoe. I will put it here. I will put it there. So you want me to now lose this job and now go back for another 5 years and not find a job? But for a system where you can easily just get another job.
But it's funny how some Canadian countries, companies have branches in Nigeria and they still behave
like the
locals. I might not have an example at the back of my mind.
I don't know if it's just Canada. I don't know any other Canada, but I don't know any Canadian company. But for foreign companies that have like structures and based in Nigeria, the way they treat their Nigerian employees is not the same way they treat their employees
locals
in their locals.
Their host country.
Who are the leaders in this Nigeria? In Nigeria.
Exactly, Nigerians.
You're right.
Nigerians just know how to Nigerialize everything. And it's
sad. It's very sad. It's actually very sad.
Yes.
So today, the Nigerian labor law is there for you. So please advocate for yourself. Speak up for yourself. If your employer says you should put your head somewhere and you just feel like it's not right, talk. Don't be scared to lose your job. Don't be scared. Come and meet us to give you another job. Then another aspect of employment practices that we'll look at is recruitment and hiring. I mean, that's also an important part of employment practice. So in Nigeria, I think there's this misconception that most Nigerian employment is based off of nepotism. And I don't think that's completely accurate. Looking at like maybe government parastatals or like government agencies, sometimes, well, let me not say sometimes, I think more than sometimes, a lot of times, is mostly driven by nepotism. In the times before, I don't know about now because obviously I don't, but still it still boils down to like, oh, who do you know? How did you get here?
Godfatherism.
But the nice thing about it, the interesting thing about it is like private companies now, privately owned companies now, their employment and recruitment is mostly driven by merit. It's merit-based. Of course, there's referral. There is like, oh, I know this person. But most times now, the employment of these days now is mostly based on nepotism. Not speaking to the government agencies. I'm just talking about like because in countries that in the West, I think almost all the time is based on merit, what you can do, what you have. But in Nigeria, for the longest time, it has always been like, oh, who do you know? Who brought you here? How did you get here? It's always by like connection. But I'm like just glad to report now that okay, it's changing. Things are changing. Is employment actually with private owned companies is mostly based on merit.
Yes, and I think a major issue actually that we can't even do without discussing is the issue on discrimination. And it's the way so many people have the effortry, to put on their job ads certain clauses, such as the candidate must be female.
What?
I'm telling you. There have been situations where I've seen that the preferred candidate is a female.
Yes.
Or that the candidate
Is
must
even the
be...
norm.
Yes, must be between the age of 26 to 36. Or must be...
What?
I mean, you just have this categorization of the candidate. I mean, if Nigeria was a country that had so many races, I'm sure they will also put it there.
Yes.
That this person
must be
black. Or must be black. Yes. We've also had situations where people put Igbo.
Must be from this part of the country.
East, you know. And once I understand that maybe due to gender balance, sometimes in organizations they'll prefer to select a lady, right? But I don't expect you to put it on the job ad.
That's such
discriminatory. So, Hinda, what do you have to say about this our problem in this country?
It's a big problem.
The first caption that comes to mind is when you have those things on the JT, is it connected to the job or to the job being carried out? That do you need a lady to be the one to do that job? Those are the questions I would be asking. So is it gender specific? Because if you're putting those things on the JD, then it has to be that you are able to do it. That a man cannot do that job, and it has to be a man that will do that job.
Yeah.
So if you can't do things like that, then that's where discrimination comes in. Because what you're saying straight out is, even if a man can't do it, I don't want a man to be the one to do it. So that's you discriminating already. But if there's like a proper, like reasonable explanation to the fact that only women can actually do this, I don't know if there's any type of job that it's just only gender specific,
unless maybe labor.
But I don't know. So typically in Canada, obviously that's straight out, like nobody can do that.
I thought as much.
You won't have the you don't have the nerves to do that.
Like you mentioned, like if it's explainable. I was just thinking they won't still put it. Yeah. I would say like in Nigeria, most times like if you look at job ads like, for like maybe personal assistant, for example, it's always mostly it always has preferably female. Yes.
That's insane because if I look at it clearly, this man is right. Or no one cover. Man,
female. If you
Because
are
if you,
man,
as a PA, you need to be at my beck and call. As a woman, I might not be able to always do that because I have family to cater to. That's my own thinking. So it's insane to actually say that just the woman and the employees. Because if you look at it logically, probably a man could give you
even more than we are.
So it's not based just the woman being.
Even if you have such biases, or even if you prefer like a certain gender, or you prefer a certain age range, or even if you prefer a certain religion, or you prefer a certain tribe, it shouldn't be in your JD. It shouldn't be in your ad. It should not be in the ad at all. There are ways that you can filter out like CVs that, or maybe applicants that you don't need. But even if it's a job that everybody can do, why not just give people equal opportunities? But even if you have those biases, it shouldn't be in your job ad. It shouldn't be.
For the quality of work you also want to get done, it's important to also focus on actually the things that the job needs.
Exactly.
Like on your JJ, it should be the person will be able to do analytical stuff. The person will be able to report this, you will be able to use this type of systems. Those are the type of things that will be on a JD. Like you should have, if it's a leadership role, you should have at least led a team of 4, a team of 5,
for a period of time.
So anything on the JD is typically position for job related.
Exactly. Not to do your own biases.
It has nothing to do with a person, because if you do anything like that, that's clear cut discrimination, and there's too many people trying to make you as an employer. So you're just giving people an opportunity to say, oh, I can get $10,000, $20,000.
Yes.
This person.
Yeah. In Nigeria, it's not like that.
But my next question will be: are there no laws against that? Are they not like, even if it's not enforced, but are there not laws against that?
The Nigerian labor law does not permit you to discriminate during the point of recruitment.
Are there any grounds? So you could say discrimination, but you're not stating
you should
what
see
grounds.
Nigerian labor law. Nigerian labor law is as of 2004. The current law that was enacted or that we're currently using is the Nigerian Labor Act of 2004. And the last I checked, there are some fines that you pay that amounts to about 200 naira. There are some that are about 100 naira, 300 naira. In this time, please, do we even have the cash? I mean, it is ridiculous to say that if someone breaks a particular law, you are going to be fining the organization 200 naira. They will probably pay every time.
Close their eyes.
Foundational issues. Also, like
It's a labor law.
Yes.
Yeah, it has
so
to be.
there is nothing. Most people actually just bypass all those things because they know that there's nothing holding them.
Yeah. That's why it has become the norm, and everybody just like, even me, even though in my I know subconsciously, I know that this is not right. I'll see it, but I won't dip it. I wouldn't dip it. I'll just see it. Okay, norms.
No,
like I would, because in my mind it has become like, okay, it's a normal thing that people do. Is even though I know that this is not right, but I'm not going to be so upset. Like when I see it, I just
But as HR professionals, additional also small things where CIPM should start.
The body should start looking at, okay, this should
exactly.
Because I'm sure CIPM has connection with CIPT and and they know what is right and what is wrong. So it's more like, as a HR person, if those things, these are small things you do to actually enforce us. If those things are found, like if you genuinely have the guts to actually post on LinkedIn, and if you have an associate membership, that will be taken off you. If you work in a company where they do things like that, you're going to be questioned. You're going to be questioned.
Yeah.
Trust me. Small people with that will generally start seeing changes.
Your Nigeria system is actually not so particular about things like that.
Yeah. I mean, in Nigeria, discrimination exists, and they usually put it on the head. Is not hidden. Nobody really cares for people's feelings most of the time. But not to say that other countries don't discriminate. Obviously, there's discrimination everywhere. It's just that the laws have already curbed their hands to do it more sanely, or be more to apply more decorum to it. So, and which is, I don't know which is better, Sha, but I feel like we should apply decorum as well in Nigeria. We need to do better.
Be better at it, yeah.
Then this next part, this is one that I will remove. In fact, I will tie my trouser, work hours, pay time
I should
off,
probably remove my
and
glasses.
work hours boundaries. Work hour boundaries in Nigeria. I don't even know where to start from, because there was an episode, one of our episodes that I think that clip went viral of someone closing, like my closing time was 4:30, but I always feel like, my boss is still here, why will I leave by 4:30? Then I had one of my colleagues, once it's 4:30, she's leaving. I had not started working HR at that time. I was looking at her as, this person is not serious now. You're not
committed.
Your boss is here now. Where are you going?
And that's the general mentality.
That's the general. So work hour is not. If you follow worker, people will always see you as like maybe too problematic, or you're not serious, you're not committed enough, you're not loyal enough. Is it the same sentiment?
Obviously not. Like, definitely not.
Just suffering this Nigeria.
Definitely not.
We're the orchestrators of our problems.
Just about you were saying now, I remember I'm not going to mention Nemo to come down, but when I was working in Lagos, I remember that day, there was this colleague of mine, they had just started together, so kind of were close. And then he used to live, I think, in Mugbe, and I work in Marina. So that day, he left exactly 5 o'clock. Came by 5. Started 8, now closed by 5. And he left exactly by 5. And I remember this manager walking past, and she was like, she mentioned Cassie's name, like, where did he go? And I think Cassie was texting because he has called home. Then she goes, up, Komishe, Tobati Delola, tells him to come and meet and have a sharp things to artists.
In English,
that's A to B.
It means
you don't have what you're doing. That's why you're going
tomorrow, and I had more work for him.
And he worked 8 to 5. He didn't come by 10 and leave by 5.
That's what's always like the normal contracts, like maybe 9 to 5, 8 to 5. It's just based on vibes. It's a lie. No, but and it's not even apart from work hour, even leave work hour, even leave. You are allowed to take leaves, but they can say, "Oh, please quickly join this meeting." Do you? Yeah, of course. Oh, please, or weekend, like we sent you an email. But it's weekend now. But then you are expected to respond immediately.
Exactly.
We work hours in Canada, anyways. It's more like, I wouldn't say people don't work overtime. That okay. I'm sure people in tech will point from my neck if I said that. People work
obviously.
Yeah, people work till late hours and things, but it's very flexible the way it works in Canada. And it's more like, if I'm going to work an extreme long hour today, I know I can take Friday off. And my manager doesn't have to genuinely approve that. It's more like the reason why I'm working that long hours, because there's probably a deadline for tomorrow, and I need to put in the extra hours. And once I'm presenting, I'm showing everything, and I meet up for that timeline. So like, okay, I want to take Friday off. And it's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Like, I'm aware that you're working long hours.
Obviously, there are expectations during certain duration.
Yeah. And even if you work extra time, usually is adequately compensated.
Yeah, also, some people will come through me, but it's always compensated. Because the compensation will be, I'm taking for any off, but I'll still get my full pay. And that's not an annual leave. That's not a day that is on my off days. Like, that's just me taking that off. So there's that flexibility there, actually. And also, in other, say you have like a temp contract, or like a casual contract, you get overtime for that one. You also get that thing that they call on call. So say you work in IT support now, for example, and then they need you to cover for these specific hours. You get the money paid for that.
Of course.
And so, just like you said, actually, in some way, it might not always be a monetary compensation, but there's something to compensate if you're upset and you do it. So if it's not by being paid, is you taking a day off, or is you knowing that one day I'll walk 8 to 11 and I'll leave the office by nothing.
Before Nigerian employers come for us. So I mean, sometimes like especially with remote work, people working in tech, it's very possible that people work extra time. But you shouldn't. What I have an issue with is the demonization of people that want to take their time as their time.
Oh, no, and
If me myself, I say I want to work myself to death. Me, I'm the most worker. If I work past anybody, I want to work for 24 hours in a day. Fine. Oh, well done, Aisha. That's on you. But me then here now can say, no, I'm working, my contract says 9 to 5, and I'm working 9 to 5, and I'm during that 9 to 5, I'm giving my 100%. You have no right to now come and be comparing me there to, I see you not see Aisha that is working 24 hours. No. And you don't now be saying, maybe you're not praising me in front of me. They say, there are some people, they always give their all. No, you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing.
I think that's why our audience to drop their comment. Do your employers ambush you to ensure that you work beyond your stated work hours?
Send them this podcast if you have the mind.
I don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
If they do something, come to us.
Come and meet us. It's just.
You wanted to say something.
Yeah,
So in terms of like working hours, more of, in Nigeria, the way we're saying they compare one person to,
Yes.
even if you're not allowed to compare an employee to another, because I could pick that up and say, you're traumatizing me, or making me feel
Are you sure I will not move to Canada?
you're making me feel that the work I'm doing
It's not enough.
And trust me, people are looking for how to
relocate.
So if you do that kind of stuff, it's not like
Their mental health is
you're
affected.
you're messing my mental health.
Hey.
Putting my hours. And to be honest, I don't think any employer would even have the right to actually say, if you're genuinely putting your hours,
Yes.
nobody's going to ask you for more. If you do it, you do it out of the goodwill of your heart, and also like the kind of relationship you have with your manager. Like, we both understand that some days we could work 18 hours, and we then understand that we take
Some time off, yeah.
I mean,
That understanding is fantastic.
it's actually
Well,
fantastic.
do you know some Nigerian companies actually practice a flexible work style? So they operate based on projects. You have a project, deliver, and just forget the work for the
Nobody's
month.
going to be on your neck.
I have a friend that told me that he has clients outside of Nigeria. He was able to sell a deal that retains those clients on a monthly basis. So those clients need the products. And because they need the products, they're already like a constant client. It doesn't need to get or maybe upsell, right? Because those people are already constantly, they always come back, right? So every month he gets his commission for those clients and he gets his salary. And so he's not selling anything, he's just maintaining relationship. So just imagine that kind of soft work. But he attends meeting, ensures that everything is going well.
I don't know how I feel about that though. Because if you're in sales, you can never have too many sales. Like there are so many peculiarities to it that we cannot even begin to dig deep into. For that kind, I don't know that person, but for sales, if you have people that constantly come back, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't sell to other people.
Increase your sales. Well,
maybe the person. Well, it depends on the company. Like for a sales role now, it's very important for a sales role that you have a target.
Actually,
but maybe if he's meeting his targets and everybody's happy,
he has actually surpassed the target.
Okay, maybe
over surpassed because even the target that was expected and so what happened was that the product was needed during COVID. Was it COVID? No, the Russian war.
Oh, okay.
So, but because a particular country was not supplying, Nigeria, of which the country exists, right, now had to start supplying to that other country, and automatically they became, a vendor or a supplier to that particular country. And ever since, it has always been that way. So it does not even just travels to those countries, ensures that transactions are ongoing.
Wow! Congratulations to that person.
Money and commission.
So yeah, another thing is performance management and feedback. Yeah, in the Nigerian labor law, I don't think there's anything that's expressly. I don't know in any other labor law anyway. If it expressly states that okay, you need to give feedback. Like let's look at it in this way. For Nigeria, you can sack someone based on you can terminate someone's employment based on like non-performance or poor performance. But you don't, if you like give them the adequate notice, that's what the labor law says. You can, nobody's going to come and be holding you that, oh, give me the notice, the evidence that this thing is not it.
Yeah.
But in places like in the West, I'm sure like if you have the effrontery to terminate somebody based on like, oh, you're not doing well, your proof must be head-tight. Like, okay, this person is actually not performing well, which means that your performance management your performance management system has to be structured. Like, okay, this is what I expect this person to do. I expect them to do A, B, C, and they are doing D,
properly
E, F, G.
monitored, exactly.
And it is well documented that I've told them that this is ABC I asked you to do, or this is EFG that you are doing. I've corrected them and say, okay, no, you are still doing this ABC, or this is the EFG that you are still doing. Mm-hmm. So how do we like what is the balance? Like in Nigeria, like, there's no law that says that giving like constant performance review or feedback. But even in other countries, even if it's not expressly stated that you have to do this, if you have, you need to keep your record, right?
Yeah, yes, that's correct.
On a lighter note, I know that I watch all these foreign movies, and in those movies, I always see the employer saying things like, "You are fired. Leave my office," and that's the end. I mean, is that how it works in Canada?
It's true. He's film.
He's action film, sure. Because I've watched things like that where they'll say, "You're fired. Get out of my office." And
I don't think it works that way. So there's notice period. I know the notice period.
Yes, there is.
The notice period, and the notice period is for both parties actually. So it's for both the employer and the employee. It's not just for one person. So if an employee is going to leave, Canada has 2 weeks actually. So you tell your employer 2 weeks before, and vice versa. If an employer wants to lay off an employee, you tell them 2 weeks before. You will owe yourself that. And then in terms of laying off, so also it would depend.
So is it 2 weeks minimum?
2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
That's almost notice period.
3 months.
In Nigeria.
My notice period is 3 months.
It's 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
I don't know, but I'm sure there's a reason why it's that short. Was 2 weeks. You just need to You just need to give everybody. Go party just need to give each other 2 weeks. And then with the performance management, before an employer can lay off an employee, they have to like track things. So I think it's also I believe it's also from the law. So if you're going to lay someone off, it's too many things that will happen after. So if an employer is genuinely going to lay someone off, that person is qualified for something that you called GIA, and that's employment insurance that the government pays. And that's money coming out of the government's pocket. So if the government is going to be paying a certain money to somebody, you want to understand why are you letting exactly the debt. And then that falls back to the employer. So what that means is the employer has to show that for this certain number of weeks or this period, we've been going back and forth on performance. So first and foremost, you have weekly check-in with your manager. So you have like your one-to-ones. And then also things like if you're not performing well, your manager, there has to be like a step. There's actually a step to you. So they're probably sending you like trainings. They are telling you this project. There's like track. Like they just need to open their email. And typically in the West, everything is genuinely tracked in an email. So if they need to put any form of evidence for anything, it's there. It's not, that because the last 3-4 months, we've been going back and forth on performance, and this is still the same thing what they're saying. So it's clear to the eyes, it's clear to the blind person, the reason why they had to be the adults.
I mean, there are performances like feedback in Nigeria too. I know that some employers try, some companies try, like, even if somebody is not performing well, put them on PIP, or try to help them, trainings, constant trainings, feedback and all. But it's not like anybody, there are companies that will just, even like you mentioned the other time, like the notice period is for both parties. Some Nigerian companies, most times companies just terminate with immediate effect.
Was I not just talking about a company that required the employee to give 3 months notice, but they can let you go immediately. But when the employer wants to give notice, the employer would now have to use the statement of the labor law That is the notice required by the labor law, which means that if the person has stayed in the organization for 1 year, the employer can just give 1 day notice. Yes. Because the labor law, that's what it says.
But the labor law, it doesn't apply to the 3 months that they're giving, that they're asking.
It doesn't apply to the employee.
No, that's absolutely both parties.
Yes, so it's an imbalance.
It's an imbalance
for some
system.
organizations.
And it's the same in Ireland as well. Like 4 weeks in Ireland is for both classes.
4 weeks in Ireland.
Yeah, whatever notice period works for both. It's not always bedside.
It's not always side. That's fantastic.
That's actually nice. We are really going through a lot. It's fair. It's fairness. Employment is supposed to be like everybody. Both parties, we are both equal. I'm giving you a service. You are paying me for the service that you are giving me. You're not dashing me money. I think most employers used to think that, this work that this person is doing for me, I'm just dashing you. I never. Long time ago, there was also somebody somebody was telling me that their boss, whenever he pays their salary, that the next day they have to go and thank you, like, thank you, sir. That if they don't thank you, you say, hey, you not see your salary, you will delay the person's salary for the following.
I have a question for the employer. Do they thank the clients when they speak? Because you're in business, because you are a client.
Yes. And you have people
you are providing services.
Yes,
exactly.
I don't know. That person is a clown.
A real clown.
Big clown.
There are some employers that do that, even till date. So it's not the past.
So I mean, if we talk about, there are many other things that employment practices that we can look into. I mean, you can tell us in the comment if you want us to bring Goinda back, so I will talk about more. If there are more things that you want us to talk about, you can let us know. But before we go, I know you've had the experience working in Nigeria, working in Canada, I think UK, Ireland as well. So you can just give us like your own experience, like based on how would you like look at all the systems that you've experienced, like what's good stands to you, what's bad that stands to you. I'm sure there is something in Nigeria that you feel like, maybe it's not bad, it's not like that in where you are currently, or everything in Nigeria is just bad.
I'll touch because typically we kind of focus in Nigeria, which is fair because we can see more of the bad than the good, but I'll start from the good first, and then it would be the not compensation in pay. So every time I try to make people understand as well that compensation it's not just monetary. Little things like having friends in the office. Yeah, that's focus on this, right?
Yeah.
That's
typically in Canada, your work is nobody.
Hi,
Face your work and more.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Maybe that's my experience. I mean, that's my experience. That's probably an immigrant's experience. Maybe that could be a thing. There could be other people that have like good relationships
With their colleagues.
yeah. And then also another thing would be, I heard people get their rents being paid for, or people get like drivers, people get company cars, and typical things like that. To get a company car, you have to be a leadership level. I don't think anybody pays for anybody's rent anywhere. I know people get their kids' school fees as well.
Unless you're an expat.
An expat, yeah. So typically, you wouldn't get those small perks here and there. So the kind of benefits that you would get, you get your pay, you get health insurance, you get ESOP, so like the share ownerships and pension. So I'm hearing that all these 13 months, you know about this paying to, you collect your salary and income and things like that. So like, especially with like Christmas packages and stuff, none of that happens as well. So that is one side I would say that is strong in Nigeria, but you will find in Canada,
other kinds,
or other like countries and things. But on the flip side would be, and then as like I would say, it depends on what you also value as an employee. Security is very strong, like job security is very strong. I'll say job security is a big career. So if you value job security, then you probably want to pivot and focus on working in Canada or something like that. So job security is a big thing, like you can be guaranteed. Also because the government doesn't want to just be paying people those stipends. So you're very much secure, and before you genuinely be laid off, you actually messed up. You messed up. There's that part. Also another thing would be like the recruitment process as well. Like personal experience, I struggled before I left Nigeria. Obviously, for you to do it. I struggled before I got a job in Nigeria, and it's more of who do you know. Eventually, when I got one, was because of money. Unfortunately, but Like, I mean, I really don't know anybody. However, something is very important in Canada, and that's like Canadian experience. So, typically, employers would always. So that's a struggle for a lot of immigrants when they initially come in. It's like a lot of employers ask for Canadian experience. I was in an interview, and the person that really told me, go on for 1 year, you can come back. But they find someone that will probably go 1 year, and then you can come back and things like that. But there are also employers that are willing to take the chance on you, especially that you've worked in Nigeria, you've worked in Ireland, and things like that. You should be able to blend. I think that notion might come from a place of fear that we're not sure
of this person.
Like the kind of work experience you have doesn't match to what is being practiced in Canada. So a lot of times you genuinely see Canadian experience.
The scoring for you coming into Canada, because if you check that their scorecard, right, for you to I've forgotten what they call it.
The IRCC.
Yes, criteria for you to relocate to move to Canada, right? They score you, and your experience is part of those things they look out for, isn't it?
Those are things on paper. They are not things in practice. So they see that you have like 3+ work experience, but then again, like ask those in medical field that you're a medical doctor in Nigeria doesn't mean you can practice as a medical doctor. When you move to Canada, you still have to do rigorous.
Even
rigorous, extremely rigorous.
Yeah.
Even HR.
No, HR is really seamless.
If you have the certification that is accessible.
So I wouldn't compare it to what the medical.
Oh, of course not. Yeah. I'm just saying that you. Yes, you don't have.
You have to CPHR. CPHR. So CPHR, you have to they would ask you for candidate experience. Is it that you want to get in by volunteering or something like? Also, employers are just really to give you like better you and things like that. So those are also like things as well. So getting a job in Canada, this might not be everybody's reality, but getting a job in Canada feels a bit more seamless. Like it's straight to the point, you know exactly what to expect and things like that. And also another thing would be at the interviewing process. Sometimes my personal experience now would be that the interviewing process kind of feels like a death sentence here in Nigeria. We had like 4 or 5 people.
Death
In
fact, we might
your chest will be beating fast.
However, they understand that psychological part, and you wouldn't have more than 2-3 people interview you. So instead of 5 people sitting in front of their walls, they could break that down to like 2-3 different job interviews.
But Nigerian companies are trying out. I mean, speaking from my own experience, like my own workplace. Like anybody, like even all people that work in my home, like they always like the interview process was so amazing because the fear of like interview like is always there. Like you always I'm always like my own goal is for you to be relaxed so you can give me the best of yourself.
Look at it like
it's supposed to be a chat.
It's supposed to be a chat. It's not a conversation. I'm getting.
That's how you get it.
That's why most people do. If you are tense, if somebody is tense, they will not be able to give you that because they are already tense. But if somebody is relaxed, in fact, there are times that I've interviewed because the person was so relaxed, they said things that they are not supposed to say. In that way, I've already know that this person
is not the person.
It's not the person for me. Imagine like I'm interviewing you, are talking about all the things that have happened to you. Things are supposed to be confidential to the place that you are currently working. So if I bring you here, obviously that's why you will be saying everything about our rigid. If it was rigid, you would not be able to get that out of the person. And I was liking the person's vibe. We were communicating. The person was so comfortable. God. I say God.
Some people get job over like a coffee chat. Like you just need to be coffee shop and just have a conversation. Or can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Okay, I'm working on this project and I just need to chip in and then come to cover this part of the job. And it was naturally
giving that different time.
Yes, so
very nice.
I mean that's amazing. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much, Oinda. Let us welcome Oinda very well. Please tell her that she's very beautiful and she's amazing. And tell her to take me with her, yes, to Canada.
So to employees, know your rights. Go and read about the labor law, the factory acts, everything you need to know. Ask ChatGPT.
Even ask us.
Yes, put it in our chat box. In anything when you find us, just on social media, go and look for us, send us a mail, and we're going to respond to you at any point, at any time, even midnight. We respond.
We are there.
So employers, have a structure. It will protect you. And structure is not limited to just, having policies within the workspace. Have structures that are implementable, that people can even walk through it, even while you're not there. For HR professionals, this is me calling you out. The goal is fairness, not to instill fear in your employees. We've come to the end of today's conversation.
Thank you, Inda, once again. Thank you.
From one explorer to another, be bold,
be global, and be you.